And we're back. What's up? Welcome everybody to the second half. So the group was just resting, and they are going to be will have been brought back into the council room, and they're going to be just walking in as we're picking. Excuse me, as we're picking up. You guys are gonna. So as you're hearing, you hear some chatter, and as you get closer, you hear. Well, I mean, they can't release if something happens with Cryax. It's gonna be a major issue. Yeah. And and then you guys are entering the room. Well. Sorry. I don't know what to call you all. Do you have a name or something? Adventurers.
We all have names.
We've never come up with
I only said that like 2 months in. Should probably think of that.
Yeah, I've been saying that since the start.
Adventurers is fine for now.
Okay, well, adventurers, welcome. So, it's been brought to my attention that you will all let us know. We're interested to see your future plans. If you have any other ideas, now would really be the time. We are creating our new plan of attack now. Are you willing to help more?
Was Cryax said in common or Elvish? I mean, I guess it's a name, but would I have understood?
That's a good question. It would be in Elvish. Okay. Yeah, they'd definitely be talking in Elvish.
The Cryax or
Cryanax.
Cryanax. Okay, I heard Cryax.
Yeah, I think I said it wrong. Cryanax.
What does that word mean in Elvish?
Nothing.
Like a proper noun. Okay.
Well, I can give you my personal opinion. Take it for what you will. I think that going back to Buckpert now would be a mistake, especially with all the hobgoblins withdrawing, at least some of them to that fortress. I think now might be a good time to either go back and try to take down Donk, or one of the locations that we have not been to yet.
So what you're telling me is you adventurers are willing to continue on, and
If you'll have us.
Yeah.
yes. Well, from what I've been told, you've also created some missives in Goblin.
Yes. I'm not sure how well they'll work, but I'm hoping that spreading some false information may help us confuse the enemy and possibly get some sort of advantage on them.
Wonderful. How do you propose to spread that knowledge?
Well, if I can be frank, don't make the joke.
I'm going to make the joke.
Go ahead then. No,
Oh, I thought you were going to say something first, and then I was going to make a joke.
no, never mind. If I can be frank, it seems somehow the enemy was getting at least some sort of word on your plans. I don't know if they were killing people and just stealing the letters off from them. I don't know if they have listening spells, either in the old place or here or wherever you make plans. That's a spell I should really learn.
They do have some very high level spellcasters. Or high power.
Oh, they could be scrying too. That might be a thing. But somehow it seems like they were getting information, and if we can somehow give people who are carrying messages to each other or to your forces, the fake missives as well as the real ones, they may not know which one is real and which one.
Please get to the point.
You need to get the information out there somehow and make sure it's fake.
Yes, and you came up with the missives, and that's great. We would just like to know how you plan to distribute them.
That's up to your strategist. I just came up with the idea of making sure that false information goes out there.
Oh, okay.
It's false information both. The ones I was working on specifically was more like goblins finding. It's written in Goblin, so that it looks like you've somehow gotten this information, or it can be passed to a goblin, or somebody could disguise themselves as a goblin. Somehow, as a yes.
We could find. You guys obviously know who are transferring these documents back and forth. We could sneak up on one and replace the missive that they have with them with the one that we made. I could sneak up on them and make the swap, and then if they see me, I just run away and hide.
Okay.
But it'll give false information, like meet here at dawn, and
we could ambush them.
Yeah. Not the ones I wrote were meet here at dawn, because that's not something that I was able to come across in Goblin. But I have things like we have a shipment going here, planned for ambush, and instead of them ambushing us, we ambush them.
Well, please convey this information, and I guess one of the key points would be placing it on the correct individuals. So that sounds like a great mission for you to take care of.
Where, do you have any information on what paths that they have been taking to deliver these missives? Obviously, you have received some, gotten some into your possession.
We've merely taken a few, very few pieces off of the corpses on the battlefield.
Okay. Did any of the corpses have anything in common? Anything to designate them as carriers?
Not that I know of, but you could speak to... you could go to the front lines and speak to the individuals themselves.
Okay. That'd be my recommendation. Get as much information as we can. As you said, we got to get it to the right people.
Okay. Well, we're planning our strike forces now. So, if that's all, please go ahead and start doing that. If you want to do anything else, please let us know as soon as possible.
Will do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing before we go. Is Ildren coming with us on this mission as well?
He informed me that you're quite capable on your own.
Okay.
If you need his guidance and his assistance.
I think just because at least the three of us haven't been to the front line yet, getting there and talking to the right people would be helpful. As you can imagine.
He motions over to Ildren, and Ildren nods his head. All right. Tell me when you're ready to go.
All right. Give us a little time to gather our things, and we'll come see you.
Okay. He walks you guys out.
Okay. All right. Well, anybody need to grab anything before we go, or should we hit the road now?
And no refills for flask. Do they have anything stronger than ale, or is it just ale?
They have some like grain alcohol type stuff.
Oh yeah, I'll fill up my flask with that.
Okay. Moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
How I'll ask Eldrin, where can I go to find some extra rations? I'm running a little low.
Just he'll point you in the right direction.
Okay.
You can take whatever you want.
I'll grab 9 more rations, make it an even 10.
Sure.
Cool. I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready. I've been ready.
Alter?
We need to make sure that there's a way that if we're sending these messages out, that if one of the elves comes across one of these messages, that they know that this is fake information. We don't want them to also be or grab it and go, oh, great, they're going this direction. We don't want to mislead them. We only want to mislead the goblins.
Yeah.
Do we just need to make sure that HQ has a record of what they said?
Or is there...
We could crease the corners of all the ones that we have.
We don't want to make it an obvious visual thing because that could tip off if enough of these are one. Because we're also trying to pass we're trying to pass the information to the goblins.
Right.
They start getting false information. They're going to look enough times. They're going to look to see what these things all have in common. So we don't want a visual cue.
So what would your recommendation be?
I mean, did you tell them what you were writing?
They have a copy. Not the one I was just talking to, but the people I was working with.
Nimue.
Was she the only one I worked with?
She was the main one. I mean, you would have dealt with other people as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious if this book of warding has anything specific. Like, if I can say, like, if elf, then trigger.
I don't think so.
Trigger confetti.
Well, it would be more like trigger message.
I don't know what's in this. Oh, it's everywhere.
It's like pride in a box.
Ooh, glitter. Glitter.
Dude, that stuff stays with you forever.
Exactly. Then when somebody walks in and said, "Hey, I found a message and they're covered in glitter," you're like, "No, you didn't. Walk away.
They're not
Go
looking
take a
at it.
shower."
I think I can get that specific with it.
Or I suppose if it was a small enough visual cue. Oh.
Yeah, no, they actually can. You can further refine the trigger so spell activates only under certain circumstances or according to physical characteristics, such as height or weight or elf.
Does it literally say elf?
No.
Okay. It's like, wait, what?
Height or weight is the... well, it is close. Creature kind, for example, the ward can be set to affect aberrations or drow.
Okay.
Or alignment.
Cool. That would...
Can't do it today, though.
Okay, so slightly less helpful.
Well, how long of a journey is it to where you're going anyway?
Children, along the front lines.
About a mile out.
It's not very far at
A
all.
mile?
Mm-hmm. I haven't gone there myself yet, but, I mean, you can hear it if you listen. I could do a small visual cue. Not anything noticeable, especially, but something that if you're looking for it, you would find.
Did you see the original missives?
I saw the few they had here.
What'd they look like? Like, were they all crinkled up, or were they folded neatly, or...
You would have like done it to your best ability to match it.
Yeah.
So.
It's more just adding a thing, and she'll take out one of the ones, and then she'll take out her quill and do just at the very bottom change the signature so there's a slight uptake.
Like a loop or something?
It's not even quite that. It's the signature it looked more like a bunch of scribbles, but now the signature looks where if you turn it in the right direction, it says Wick. She was already doing something very close to that, but now it's like a little more obvious where if it's turned, but you're not gonna like, it's not something you're gonna know to look for unless
Right.
you know to look for it.
Right.
So we can pass that information along that if this exists on a piece of information that you collect, this is probably false information.
Mm-hmm.
Ildren, after we get to the front lines, when you come back here, will you let everyone know?
I can draw it for you on a blank piece of paper so they have that information, what it looks like.
Sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, let's get there.
All right. Follow me.
I follow.
Do you need the? You want to climb it or?
Yeah, I'll climb. I got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Would you lower it just to be safe?
Strength or athletics checks for everybody.
Well, going down's a lot easier.
Well,
Work with gravity on that one.
Myself included?
You're fine. With
Dirty
your,
20.
Easily done.
Natural 19, so 17.
Yep.
4.
Yay, there it is. So do you get caught
Give me
up
that
in it,
deck
or do you
save. Give
fall?
me that deck save.
Okay. So what happens? Sai would probably go first. Very excited. Wick, I'm assuming, would go second. Probably following the same order than Valchar.
That'd be the last one because I have the feather fall.
Okay, so you're gonna be the last one. So then, Ildren giving you a look up and down. Okay, he'll go ahead of you and start like going down and just kind of like watching.
Keeping a very
you.
close eye.
Yeah, keeping a close eye. So you're gonna go however you want to approach it. And
If he wasn't about to save your life, you'd probably be mad at him for being derogatory.
yeah, right.
Or demeaning is the right word.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just, like, I don't know, lose my grip or something, or slip on a wet piece of bark or something like that. Like.
okay, I was just like how you want to approach the rope. Like, are you gonna be like, I got this, or are you just gonna be like, just go?
Yeah, just go.
All right. So yeah, you're gonna start heading down, and quite quickly, it's just gonna like you're just not ready for the amount of weight that is there. You're trying to hold on, but you just like you start to like slide down the rope,
Oh, ouch.
and it starts to like hurt your hands. Do a Constitution. Just do a saving throw.
14.
14. Okay, so you're able to hold on. And you just kind of like hit on the Uldra and takes the weight of you and reaches up and like grabs you with, helps brace you with one hand. Not gonna say anything.
It's for the best.
A little help. He shouts out.
I don't know what you want me to do. You're not falling anymore.
Okay, he'll go with disadvantage. By the way, the DC was 5, so literally super low.
Because
Well, I rolled a 3, and I have a +1 to athletics.
Wah, wah.
Iljan will barely be able to kind of like holding you with one hand and like using his feet and just kind of help like slowly get you down, and then you can just climb down after. You guys are able to start heading towards the front line, and the closer you get, the more you start to hear things. And
Before we go, at the bottom of the rope, I'm going to say, hey, Ildren, thanks for grounding the cargo.
he tries to stifle his laugh.
I say something real vulgar that you don't understand in Giant. Let's be real, most things in Giant are real vulgar,
Yeah.
so I just say a thing in Giant and you're like,
You could tell the tone.
yeah.
I'll be like,
You
hey,
know-
I heard
you
you say that
know-
earlier.
You know that when I switch to swearing in Giant or Orc, like,
Yeah.
I mean business.
I'm just going to go up here.
All right, so you guys start heading in that direction, and you start to hear the sounds of battle. Start to it's just and every once in a while you hear like an explosion. And,
You're not kidding. This is close.
and as you guys start getting closer and closer, it's louder and louder, and you eventually like you kind of like look around the tree and you see like you start walking and it's like squishy.
Don't look down, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down,
I look
don't look
down.
down.
I look down.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of blood that's been kind of pooling and coagulating. It's been just kind of sitting there, and it's like almost like you're walking in like mud right now. But
Is it duck blood? Is it coagulating?
Boy.
Alright, move on.
Oh boy.
I applauded you for the original to
I'll
joke
see myself.
prior. I didn't applaud you for this one.
Yeah, well,
Is it, are there a lot of bodies,
Try my
or is
best.
it just the blood?
no,
not right here. It's mostly just blood. And as you guys are kind of looking around, you see that there are some like encampments set up here. A lot of defensive structures have been built up, like spikes and it's probably about 300 feet ahead of you, where you can actually see like there's actual combat happening, and as you guys approach, you see that there's some structures built here, like rather
300 feet.
hastily
That's a range.
I do not start throwing up.
for like commanders and like tents and like people who are on the front lines planning what's happening and stuff. So you guys make your way up to one of these tents.
On the way over, I'll just say, hey, Eldrin, once we're done with this, we should go whet our appetite a little bit.
That's what he does.
As they're walking, Wick is gonna keep an eye out for anybody who's like unconscious / dying but not dead.
Okay.
You're gonna turn them into zombies.
Nope.
If you want to look for that, give me a perception.
Perception.
A lot of blood, but no dead people.
13.
Okay. Ildren will show up with you guys, and you'll approach one of the the commander areas, and you'll see a few elves, like two of them just like kind of dripping blood from their face.
I'm looking more for like unconscious, like
right.
Yeah.
This is just these
Okay.
individuals. They're like it's like dried blood on their head, and you see some of it like new, like some of them have like a cut over his, and then one of them has like a cut that's just like dripping off of his hand, but they're in deep conversation, and Ildren approaches, and they both look, and like, Ildren, what news? Well, they needed to speak with some of the commanding officers here. Pardon us for a minute. We don't have time. What do you need? And if any of you can be of any help, please go help.
We're trying to find some of the people who found the goblin or hobgoblin missives on dead bodies. We're trying to find out any information so we can get a couple of these bastards off your back.
The guy with the cut on his brow is. I pulled a few off.
Were there any obvious symbols that these people were carrying? Any specific bags or anything? We're trying to plant some false missives on these people or on these goblins. So
Try and get some reinforcements going
away from you guys.
The wrong way or whatever. That sort of thing.
That would be good.
Yeah. How should we look? Who should we be looking for, or were they all in the same area?
They seem to be slightly better armored. Usually if they're in charge, they're riding one of the larger animals.
Like the raptors, or
some of them. A lot of the hobgoblins have dire wolves that they're on.
Goblin or hobgoblin?
We've seen
The
those.
hobgoblins are usually on the dire wolves. The goblins can be on
Whatever.
anything.
But the ones that you pulled them off of, were they goblins or hobgoblins?
Mixtures of both.
Okay.
During
Only
this
found a
time,
few.
I am off doing the spare the dying thing.
Okay. Yeah. So if you guys don't really partake and you just kind of go out, there are plenty of people to help, and
Wick would actually also be casting Spare the Dying because it's another
Matt's
new
healing word.
spell.
Matt's healing
Nice.
word. Matt's healing word.
We'll have that conversation after you're done here.
okay. Yeah. So you guys just kind of go off. You guys can find plenty of people in need of help, and as you're you see people being dragged off the battlefield, some corpses, some very deeply injured individuals.
Soon to be corpses.
It's not like a lot because it's a little bit of a stalemate going on. It's not a heavy push, but there's still like arrows flying across, and you're a bit out of range, but the closer you get, the more danger. You'll see the occasional frost bolt just fly overhead.
Wick
Can
just
I-
kind of reaches over, touches Velcher on the shoulder, and casts protection against good and evil.
I was going to protect you from that, but okay.
After kind of talking with him for a little bit, I'll say, Sai, do you think you can handle the rest of this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go, climb a tree and see if I can see where kind of the line is, and then launch just a bunch of
There are a lot of
arrows.
defensive structures here, so you'll definitely have a spot to go up
Okay,
on,
cool.
and
Yeah.
very designed for long range archers.
Yeah, and just launch some volleys at the enemy. I mean, I can launch 2 arrows every 6 seconds, and I have I think I have like 500 arrows, so I'll probably launch like 50 or something.
Okay, cool.
Just pick off whatever I can. If you want me to
Nice.
roll anything, I can.
We're not going to go through that, but unless
Roll
you
50
unless you want
50
to.
attacks.
Yeah, you kill all of them.
Roll forever.
Because if you're rolling attacks, then you're going to have to start getting attacked too. But we'll just kind of assume it's more like periphery, like just kind of from the edges and stuff. Anything else? Is there anything else that you need?
Yeah. Where did you find these exactly? Were they kind of all over the place?
He just points to the battlefield.
They were on the battle. Were they fighting?
Of course.
They were. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected these. If they're carrying important information, I wouldn't have expected them to be actually fighting.
Whoever said it's important information. It could just be common gibberish.
Okay. How are they? Where did you find them on the bodies? The letters.
They seem to have like a pouch on their belt.
Do a lot of the goblins and hobgoblins have similar pouches?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really pay attention to that.
Okay. I think that's all I need.
Okay. Is that all? He looks Eldrin. That's good. Thanks.
All right. Well, I think that's all the information I need. I might want to get a little bit closer and try to keep an eye out, see if I can see any that seem to match that description.
So, what's the plan now?
Well, sorry.
Looks like the other three are helping.
Well, hopefully we can get these fake letters in, and we can help even more. I think I just need to get closer and take a look and see if I can find any that match the description of heavily armored goblins and hobgoblins with pouches on them, and then I think the goal would be for us or somebody to go out there and remove the missives that they have and get that information, but at the same time keeping them alive and giving them this false information so that they can take it back to their bosses.
That's exactly what we want.
Well,
And then once they deliver them, chop their heads off.
sounds good, but so are you?
We're on the same page.
Are you planting it on the people delivering the message or the people receiving the message?
I'd like to plant them on the people that are doing the delivering so that they don't know. My hope is that they don't even see me and that I can plant them on them and they'll deliver it for us. Because trying to get to if they're delivering it to important individuals, the closer we get to them, the more dangerous it's going to be. So I'd rather, get in, get out, and set up some ambushes.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to come up with a way to do that.
Yeah. I was thinking just sneak up on them.
Well, finding the right person.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's get a little closer, and I'll start looking.
What do you mean closer?
Well, if all these were found on the battlefield, then where else would we go?
We cannot sneak through this. We have to go far around and into enemy territory.
Okay, I'm fine with that too.
Okay. You want to gather the others?
Yeah. All right, we got all the information we need.
While that conversation's going on.
Yeah.
When do you learn that?
Spellbook.
I want to see if it's actually something that I can read. I'm assuming it's Arcana, so.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm probably not super great at yet.
I mean, it's just a spell book. It's
Right.
the same things that would be like any regular spell book.
To me, since clerics get their power through.
Yeah, they don't have a
symbols,
spell book.
There's no spell book,
Mm-mm.
and it's never a learned spell, really. So.
It's channeled. Yeah.
So I assume reading Arcana symbols, or arcane symbols, probably.
It's not necessarily arcane symbols. It's just in common. Like this is the these are the components you would need to cast it if you were casting it this way, and like this is how long it takes to cast it, and this is what it does. And
So this.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like a wizard's spellbook is really.
Hers isn't a wizard spellbook.
Right.
It is a book of shadows, so it's slightly different.
You have quite a few spell slots for level 2. Level 2 warlock, right?
I only have 3 spell slots.
Those are all
Or 2 spell
cantrips.
slots. Yeah. I get 3. I've
For
gotten
the dying is cantrip.
Yeah. And so is message.
Okay.
I have 3 spells and 2 spell slots.
I will only look at the one that you opened it up to.
It would have been message, and she's actually written down the ones she knew before. So chill touch, eldritch blast, message, minor illusion, which is her innate one, and then spare the dying, and then there would be one more page that you
Okay.
don't see.
Huh. That's impressive.
I figured it might be a helpful spell to have.
I mean, you're helping. As someone's getting dragged past, you're helping a bunch of people right now, which is.
And it'll be helpful if anything ever happens to you and we don't have potions. You've saved my life with it a few times.
There's that. The unfortunate thing is, I don't know what I have right now. I don't know if I'm alive right now.
I'm working on the idea that you are.
I'd like to think I am. I don't feel any different from what I used to be prior to that time. But I'm working on what time I have. So I'm hoping if it comes down to it, that spell will help things.
I'm hoping it'll help things too.
Alright. Let's keep going. There's a lot of bodies coming in.
Okay. Just you guys do some medicine checks and things also, I'm assuming, and just kind of try to help patch up some things. And
Nope, he's dead.
you.
I mean, Wig is mostly just, okay, I can stabilize you, I can stabilize you, I can stabilize you. She's not necessarily the greatest with medicine. She's okay. She's read some things, but she's not.
You're better than nothing.
A cleric.
Where they're definitely overworked. They don't have
Yeah.
enough people. It just some people are left almost dying and just die because no one can take care of them. So it's very anything you can do is good. And there's plenty of work as much as you want. And then you just keep shooting arrows and picking off goblins and hobgoblins and raptors and shooting at some giants and such.
Yeah, if there's giants, I might.
Yeah.
I might prefer them.
Target them.
Specifically target them.
I have some feelings.
And then Sai comes and gets us?
No.
No?
Not anymore.
Nope.
He just leaves.
I'm going off, taking care of business. No, not really.
Pulling away.
Yeah, I'll come get everybody and be like, alright, I have the information that I think we need. I think we're going to go around a little bit away from the thick of it and try to get them coming in or going out.
Okay.
So what we're looking for is we're looking for either goblins or hobgoblins that are a little bit more heavily armored than the usual brand. I don't know how many of them have these, but the ones that had the letters had pouches, and most of them were riding either frost wolves or raptors or whatever kind of variety of beasts that they're on. So that's mainly what we're looking for. More heavily armored and on beasts of some sort.
Was there any of these notes on from a scout, or were these only just messages being transferred between locations?
The ones I wrote were messages being transferred between locations. I didn't have a lot to work with. They don't have much that they've found. I put together a very rough dictionary of sorts, but it's not the greatest, and it definitely doesn't leave much room for creativity.
Can you make a copy of the dictionary and leave it with people here in case they...
I already
Find
have
the
a
notes?
couple extra copies.
Yeah, let's give it to the person or some of the higher ups. In case they intercept any more, they can just read them on the spot and figure out whether they're important or not.
Looks like the person who comes to the door trying to give you a Bible or something. Like, I already have an extra copy. Here you go.
Here, I got 20 more in here. Here you go.
I can't believe somebody actually asked me about this.
Do you know of our Lord and Savior, the art god, who leaves little things everywhere?
Because what could be done is, if there were any scouts taking notes on what they're seeing, we could, and even if they're killed in battle, we could just swap out and see, like, enemy movement.
So you guys didn't happen to grab any goblin writing like I asked you to?
We
A little
didn't find
preoccupied
any.
with making a dragon.
We didn't find any.
And turning into a goblin.
Cool. Nope, that's fine.
Adventure
The
stuff.
only piece of paper with anything on it was that one map that we saw, which looked the same as all the other maps.
So we'll just have to check any bodies we come across or make, and
Accurate.
and if they have that, then I can take it and do a quick read through and put something together. The more information I can get, the more extensive I can make the things I send out.
I just want to let you know that Ildren does not want us killing any of these goblins or hobgoblins. Just so you know.
He wants to do it all himself.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
that's not what you want. Oh, I'm sorry. Had it the wrong way.
You see how hurt he is?
That's the meanest thing anyone's ever said to me.
I took it to mean that you were saying that he wanted to have the last blow to each of them. We can't kill them, but he can.
That sounds very
I
complicated.
like her now.
Alright, this one's bloody. Ildren. This one. Alright, let's go. Next one.
Right.
Just last hit on everything.
Miss. You know, usual combat. Alright, well, you said you wanted to go around?
Well, how else are you gonna get this message? You can't just put it on somebody that's dead.
No, my hope is to find somebody who's alive who fits the description and sneak up on them and make the swap.
Okay.
Is this description of the delivery person or of the person acting on the orders?
I'm fine with either one. If we find out that they don't have any of the missives on them, we can just take them down.
Oh, you know what? Here, Wick. Where is the missive sending the troops? You just.
This one is saying that there's going to be a ambush at insert location. Which they're aware of, and if we can get this, we can pass along that. If we can get this out, we can pass along and hopefully surprise an ambush against their ambush.
All right, hold on. He walks back to the commanding tent, talks to them for a little bit, comes back.
Who gave this
I
dictionary?
was gonna say I'll hand the dictionary over so he can.
Okay.
It's in common Elvish and Goblin.
Okay. He comes. You see him just kind of like throw it on the table that they have. And
Just like any of the door-to-door Bible.
a little bit of chatting. He comes back.
It's through the door of a hotel.
All right. Well,
Why are there 4 of these Bibles?
they have a lot riding on this. They'll make sure that they have the soldiers ready. This better work.
And if they get any more goblin writing, it'll be helpful to me, which will hopefully make it easier for them.
Let's go.
Okay.
You guys spend a couple hours. We'll just try to go. Wow, got late very quickly.
This one does have a
Holy
bit of
cow.
a ticking time bomb. Well, that's not a thing I would know. This one does have a bit of a ticking clock on it.
A ticking sigh.
This one's got C4 on it. C4?
Oh god, this has got a timed glyph of fireball.
Yeah, this one just has fireball and a sign nearby.
I can dodge it.
This one is. We have to make sure that they think that we're going to be there in a week.
Okay.
So
Did you get any dates, like how to do dates in Goblin? Because then we can put the specific time and date on there.
That's what.
It's already been done.
Yeah,
Cool.
she was saying that it's a week out from.
In
Okay.
7 days.
Yeah.
Do we know what days are? I mean,
I think a week would
Like
be
a
a
bird,
little
man.
bit extreme. I think you do it for like 3 days later.
Well, she's thinking also taking time to find it and like.
Well, if you want a week, it's your plan. You can do a
I-
week if you want.
She would have. I mean, she did talk to a
No
tactician, so it would have been whatever he or she had told her to put. So.
Okay. It just
D6
so
days?
the way that they would do it is, it's not like the goblins wouldn't function off of like a date.
Mm-hmm.
It would be like in 3
moons.
in 3 days
Okay.
do this. So it's like it wouldn't be like June 14th do that. It'd be like in 3 days do this at this time.
That may
Like,
be one of the things that Wick gets wrong, because she would be sitting there thinking,
but if they say 3 days, they don't know when it happened because then it's not a set date and time and meh.
so.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it could also just be 3 days. Like I said, she would have taken advice from the tactician. Or
They would
strategist.
definitely suggested like 3-4 days or something sooner, because in the battlefield, that's a week is a long time. Like that's a long time.
Flowers is a long time.
Right. All right. So you guys, we're gonna speed it up. You guys can make it kind of around the huge battle situation. Start making your way deeper into.
Yeah.
So wherever you want to go from here. So they have the fortresses are kind of scattered north. Navut's down here. The alt trees over here, and kind of the defensive line. And so I assume you guys are kind of going over here. This is where Buckpert and Donk's fortresses were.
Yeah, I'd say we'd probably go in that area, and then I'd say, hey, see if you can find a main path that people have been taking back and forth between the fortresses, and we'll try to intercept them there.
Give me survival.
Find them footprints. You didn't find them footprints, did you?
12.
I mean, this looks like a pretty decent path. Able to find one after a little bit.
Pretty well traveled.
All right, well, I think we should hide here and wait and see if anyone comes by.
So what's our plan if we do?
I try to sneak up on them and
Just
swap them.
in the middle of the path?
Or we can jump them, kill some of them, and then when it's only the one who's carrying it left, I can make the swap and then we can book it.
That wouldn't be suspicious at all.
Yeah.
Why do we leave only the... I know don't shoot the messenger is a thing, but it's not a thing either.
Without being able to communicate to them, say, oh, take this message to your boss or something, or we're coming for you, or being able to interrogate them or something, it's not credible that we would leave one of them alive.
You could also do the thing that we did earlier and become a goblin yourself with that pouch, and then be able to hand something off to them going this is urgent, bring it back.
I'd be fine with that. If you can make me a goblin again.
Can make you a goblin again, otherwise I can just... Or Wick can also...
Already tiny and can disguise myself.
Right,
Okay.
but can you speak Goblin
Can you speak Goblin?
when
When
Valtar turns
When
him in?
Valtar turns you into it, then yeah, you can speak goblin.
Oh.
Anybody can.
We can try stuff and see what works.
Worst comes to worst, doesn't work. You have a few hit points to work with, and we end up killing this one.
'Kay.
That's worst case scenario.
Let's
I
do it.
like the idea of a goblin giving it to another goblin.
You'd have to transform me into a heavily armored goblin, otherwise it wouldn't be very realistic that I'd be taking and giving these letters.
More than likely, what I would do is see whatever's coming by, and then I would try to polymorph into that.
Okay. Minus
With
the
a different-
specifics.
Just a different face.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Not a
I
scar.
I don't know the limitations to polymorph because it's technically based on stats. It's just your basic goblin, but
How cute can you get with the appearances?
Super cute.
I'll read it.
Yeah, you can look it up.
I don't think it's very helpful. I read it last time. It's
Fifth edition being very bland and letting us make up the rules as we go.
Yeah,
Weird.
I would say you can probably.
Bland's
I mean, it's alter.
I would say like
not
I feel like cosmetic stuff. Like if it's not gonna affect mechanics.
You could if you're putting effort into it and like actively thinking about it. Yeah, you could do something like that.
Yeah, I'd say base mechanics would still be just your base goblin.
Yeah.
Or whatever I'm turning this creature or from this creature. So if it's a hobgoblin, I'll turn a hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you'd have those base stats, maybe not necessarily benefits from the armor or anything like that.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about like.
Yeah,
visual...
it's not very helpful with that.
Perks of like dragons, where it's kind of hard to discern.
Unless you're a dragon, it's hard to distinguish between.
Yeah, fair.
Saying all dragons look alike?
To non-dragons.
Hashtag not all dragons.
Alright.
Alright.
So
Let's do it.
we go hide out, we wait till we see someone, and then I will polymorph you into...
Alright, everybody give me some hide checks.
Oh, good.
Oh, hey, you're back.
I think...
Gonna cast Pass Without a Trace. But
You can still do that. That doesn't change.
Yeah, you can still do that before.
okay. I'll cast it then.
And Wick, I think you would not roll a disadvantage for the fact as long as you're not moving. I don't think your armor would impede anything, so...
Cool. That's a 19 minus 2, so 17 plus Pass Without a Trace?
Yeah.
27!
You still have that. I still gave it to you.
Then I have advantage.
Yep.
27. Or 26. It was one off. I'm sneaky, guys. Look, I learned.
Also rolled a 26.
I rolled 27.
Okay.
29.
Let me have my small victories.
What's that?
I said, oh, well, 23.
Not great.
Yeah.
All
Not
over-
great
all,
for you
all
guys.
over 20s, though.
Hey, great for me. Thank
Right,
you.
Well,
for
okay,
us
that's
three,
true.
not-
Rolled an 8.
Yeah, I rolled a
God,
9.
I hate you all.
Okay, so you guys wait, kind of just overlooking the path.
Yeah.
Probably about. So you guys are showing up near nighttime. So it's a good couple hours that you're gonna camp and just be watching out.
Figured that would be the case.
Once the morning starts to come around, you see one group of hobgoblins start to come through.
Have you turned me into a hobgoblin yet?
No, that's more of the we have. Or do you see?
Oh.
Ready? Wait, in message, I'll go. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to grasp his shoulder. Is it a hobgoblin? Goblin?
Hobgoblins.
You see hobgoblins approaching.
I will turn you into a hobgoblin with similar armor. I would say probably, if I can, like, chipped away. Maybe like the shoulder pad would be chipped away. Or
Okay.
something along those lines.
Little battle worn.
Yeah.
So I guess the only armor that you would probably be familiar with would be donks. Like each one has its own kind of armor style. Depending on how observant you would have been on the battlefield, maybe you would have seen a couple others, but you'd be most familiar with donks.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, for donks, I would kind of tone it back just in general.
Not quite so bulky.
Based on what my imagination would be.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Wait, donks specifically or donks soldiers? When you say style of armor.
That is a valid question.
Are you asking? Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
you-
Yeah, I know. Like all of the donks hobgoblins
so it's not
have like a
donks
similar
specifically.
style.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
You're not copying the general.
So I would...
Just turn me into a donk and I can command this sucker around.
I mean,
I just left you.
So I would do a hobgoblin in similar armor style with definite, like, battle scars.
Okay. So, like an injured Donk soldier.
essentially.
Okay.
And
You-
Whip will hold out the missive with the date or with the time
Right.
frame to it.
I'll put it in a little pouch or something,
Okay.
and I will walk into the road or into the trail.
Okay. The leader is on a dire wolf, and there are 4 individuals behind him. Hey, what do you want?
Here to transfer some letters. You came from Donks, right?
What? You look at their armor. You realize that you don't recognize their armor.
Okay.
So that's something you would know before.
Where are you coming from? I'm heading back to Donk.
What? Can't you see?
I'm new at this. How about you just cut me a break?
Freaking donks. What do you need?
Need you to take this to wherever you're going. This is going to every single one of the commanders.
Whose authority?
Take a wild guess. Can't you see?
Give it here. He kind of snatches it out of your hand. He's giving you the vibe like he's looking down on you.
Yeah. We're planning an ambush.
What do you need? This is. What does this even say? Puts it in his bucket. Puts it in.
Need me to take anything back to Donk?
Yeah, right. Just go. What do you want? How many do we need to bring?
30. It's a small group of elves.
All right, I'll send 30.
Send more if you want. I don't make the commands around here. I just transfer the information.
Yo. He points to one of the guys behind. Go tell John Bay.
Alright, well, good luck. Keep an eye out.
We'll send. How many elves are there?
We don't know yet. Send enough for as many as you think there'll be.
Okay, we'll send like 200.
I think that's a little bit of overkill. I think we need a little bit more reinforcements at the main battle. Unless you think you need 200 of you to take out some wimpy elves.
Fine. How many?
50.
Fine. I have 50. Now get out of my way. I need to go kill some elf scum.
Ha! I'm jealous. No, get out of the way.
You can join us if you want.
No, I'm only a scout.
Start going past. Scout dressed like that?
I know, right?
Roll a deception check.
There it is.
I will use a luck dice on that.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I can use either one, so that's a 12.
That was a luck to a natural 1, folks.
My luck dice have not been treating me very
Your
well.
luck dice have always given you natural 1s, haven't they? Except for the ones that you make me reroll.
Yeah, two of them last week, and then one this week.
That feat was supposed to be so good for
Wait
you.
a second. Hold up.
What?
You're not a scout.
I am today,
Why do you look like that?
because I'm coming back from the battle. I'm just sending information, man.
I don't like the way you're speaking to me. Get him. They start walking over to you.
You got 11 hit points.
And then 57 more.
But you have an armor class of 18 right now.
They approach and try to. One will each grab each arm. If
I will start saying, listen, if I don't get back to Donk, you're going to feel his wrath. You know how mad he is after his double was taken out.
you know who you're speaking to.
Should I?
You think we don't fear Donk. Donk serves us.
Okay. He's still going to be mad.
It's not my problem.
How about you tell me your name and I'll tell him?
All right, give me an intimidation. These are with goblin stats, by the way.
I'm a hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin stats, by the way.
Well, I still have I still have the same stuff from the rogue or not? So what is the...
Charisma's -1.
-1?
And I think that's for intimidation?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are hobgoblins not intimidating?
They're big teddy bears?
They don't have.
They're
good
super
charisma.
mediocre and everything.
Yeah, they're like the fail
most-
at everything.
Yeah, most creatures or monsters don't really get that many skill proficiencies until they get higher level, except for like stealth.
That was a 14. I'm going to use the luck dice again.
Good times to... Oh, wow.
Jeez. So 6. Didn't you have some elves to kill? Wasting your time with me.
Rough them up. Let's go. They each like hit you like twice.
So that's less than 11 damage.
Take 4 points and then 5 points of damage. Because it's just physical punches. It's not.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Watch your tongue in the future.
Sorry, sir.
They continue on.
I'll start walking down the path in the opposite way.
Okay.
And as soon as they're out of sight, I'll start backtracking back to them.
Okay.
So, what happened for those of us that don't speak Goblin?
Belcher's hyperventilating slightly.
Big surprise I'm still in hobgoblin form, I'm guessing, so big surprise I got my ass kicked for talking too much.
Yeah, I was worried there for a sec. I had a arrow ready to go.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't take it.
I rather like him in this form.
Do you, though? He's a hobgoblin.
Yeah, but it's Psy.
Yeah, alright.
So...
You just said you like Psy.
So...
Did it work?
What happened?
Hobgoblin Psy.
Sai, what
What?
happened?
I gave them the missive, I told them about the ambush. They're going to send 50.
Did they say who they work for?
They said... I don't remember the name, but I have it here.
Jombe.
Yeah, Jombe.
Isn't that like the first lieutenant?
I mean,
Good news, that would be the person who would pass on information.
yeah, that's true.
He's probably one of your better ones. However, yeah.
The downside is one of the better ones.
Well, they were going to send 200, so you should be thankful that they didn't do that.
How many are they sending?
50. 50. Let me know when the hobgoblin thing wears off.
I think you have...
An hour?
I think it's an hour total.
55 more minutes.
And you know what?
Okay.
I enjoy it too much to just drop it. Yep,
Do I know how it works? Because I saw the dragon turtle turn back into a dragon turtle after taking enough damage. So would I recognize that? Like, can I just go beat my face against a tree for a little bit until I turn back into myself?
Go for it.
Why don't you roll an intelligence check just to see? Because you're not a spellcaster, but
I mean,
And you
you
don't-
would have seen it, though.
God, my roll.
You
Don't
could
forget
probably
that
have
it's
it
the
with
hobgoblin's
advantage.
intelligent.
With advantage?
Yeah, hobgoblin's intelligence.
That's a 9 plus.
That is true. It is hobgoblin.
I don't know what my intelligence is a +5 if it's a
You know,
you know
I'd
the
say if you were Psy, you'd like be able to figure it out. But
But
as a
since I'm an
hobgoblin, it's like
You feel
cloudy,
like
like
you've
you're
almost
drunk.
Got it, yeah.
Like you're like everything just is like harder, significantly harder.
Tasty.
Well, we
But-
should we probably go report all that information so that they can gather enough to take him out.
You leave that location for them back there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
And
then
the time. But we should pass on the numbers so they're prepared.
it's going to be hard to
I
get
definitely
more than
wasn't
50.
planning
Can't
50.
Can't you send message to Vulan
Yes, I can.
then.
Is he all 120 feet away? I can't.
I can.
I haven't learned that yet.
I will use sending, and I will use it Vulan.
Mhm.
I will pass on to Vulan, saying, message sent at location. Did on day of
Plan.
message.
Yeah.
50 enemies.
Do you only get 10 words?
No, it's 25.
25.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just kind of, I'm also
Okay.
not doing the gesture where it's the trying to
Has to
fill up
fill
all
all
25 and then
25.
cut
Yeah,
it off.
Gotcha. Okay.
The
He'll,
important information.
he'll respond to you as received. We'll dispatch units appropriately.
They will be sending out troops.
Well, I want to be there.
I'm okay with that.
Not that they need our help, but it's been almost 2 days since I killed one of them. Getting the jitters again.
I'm going to now dispel it because that was weird. Saying that as a hobgoblin.
I haven't killed a hobgoblin in a while. Ew.
Oh, now me again.
No, me again. Wait, what's that? Oh god. Oh!
Spur the die!
You dispelled me right before I cut my own throat. I'm sick of being a hobgoblin.
And Cyril rolls his character. No one spared the dying.
I spared the dying.
I
just can't spare the idiot.
No one
It
did
makes
it.
makes me happy. Makes me happy to know that you would do that for me.
Use a cantrip
Mm-hmm.
that is literally a completely renewable resource.
Yeah.
Use a whole action.
Okay.
So what do we do in the...
3 days? 2.5 days?
Well, what are your other messages?
This one says supplies coming in from this end. I don't know how useful some of these are going to be. It could result in absolutely nothing, but false information still gets them off our trails.
Who do we think would be sending messages about when supplies are arriving? That seems like a first lieutenant kind of job, right?
Job, eh?
We just saw that armor, right? Did you get a look?
I would say I would have had to
Yeah.
probably keep an eye on them.
You
Just
guys
in
would
case.
have had eyes, for sure.
Yes.
Wick just pulls out the journal and sketches it.
Cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
but can't do it again today.
Well,
And
that's
plus,
fine.
it's sun's coming up right
That
now.
one doesn't have a
Plus,
time
I
on
mean,
it.
how many messages do they send each other is sort of the question.
Yeah. But it's I've got that one. I have one saying reinforcements coming on this day from this location.
Reinforcements for our side or their side?
Our side. But it might be another good potential chance to ambush them, or at least get some of them away from the battlefield.
Yeah.
For a day.
At the very least, get them away.
Yeah.
What if Chambe's there
Where
At the fight.
at the ambush?
I doubt that
I
a
doubt it
first
too,
lieutenant would be out on that. It's possible. It is very possible. The only reason why I would see John Bay coming out would be if
they
there was
knew.
some leader from the elves coming.
Or if they talked to Donk and found out that he didn't send the message.
But that's I still don't think that would bring one of the leaders out. I think they might bring more people
Yeah.
if that came out, but
So I have a question, and I'm going to ask you, because you're the most likely of us to know, and the least likely of them to get mad at me for asking this question.
You know?
The royal... Give me it.
Ask her question.
Give me some lenience with this, and understand that I'm not intending any bad.
Ask your question.
How the leaders of the elven people aren't known, right? Like, not the military leaders, but like your royalty.
That's correct.
how likely is it that they would still be in the area at this point?
They could be one of the people that we've already talked to, and I'm not sure how many of the elves would actually know that.
In what area?
The main city. I mean, nobody's in the city that we were at, but how likely would it be for there to be something going out saying we were moving them, even if we aren't, at this point in time? Or have they completely cleared and the goblins know that?
If most of the elves don't know, the goblins won't know.
Or is it someone who we can identify?
They wouldn't even.
May
They
not
wouldn't
be
even
the
be able
one,
to.
but just say this person is.
If we could put out that the head of the elves, I don't know how
One of
you, is
them.
it royalty, king, emperor?
More like a council.
One of the high members of the council then is being moved from one part of your lands to another part, not actually moving them. That would prompt a bigger reaction, possibly sending out one of the generals, which could be a good way to get them taken care of, or destroy one of their fortresses, depending on what happens and how we want to play with it. Would your people be okay with that? Or would that get me, like, killed immediately?
No,
It wouldn't get
that
you.
would be fine.
It wouldn't get you killed. The problem is that since so few know about it, I'm guessing a lot of the higher ups on the goblin/hobgoblin side would just say, how would they know if that was them or not?
I wouldn't
They
write it
wouldn't
in
even be able to-
goblin.
They wouldn't even be able to torture the elves because almost all elves don't know.
Exactly. I wouldn't write it in goblin. I wouldn't write it. We would need somebody on the council to write it in Elvish.
That would never happen.
They
Yeah, why
Nobody
wouldn't
knows who
wouldn't
they
you-
are.
Why wouldn't you just get one of us to write it in Elvish?
Fake it.
Can you sign somebody who they know is on the council's name?
They won't know anyone on the council.
No. Nobody on the council is no one outside, even after.
Not to the goblins.
Okay, and we'll make it less credible, but
But they could make it as... You don't have to be that credible with a bunch of goblins and hobgoblins.
The problem that I would see is
I mean,
what show of force would the goblins let out, knowing that information, and would if every goblin and every hobgoblin out of every fortress came looking for that person, would the elves be able to stop them anyways?
we're not actually moving them, but we're saying we're moving them from one location to another.
To decoy.
Yeah,
Is it a decoy for an ambush or a decoy to pull them away?
it could be either. That would be something that the elves would have to decide, or have us decide if we're the ones who get sent in to deal with it. But we can either ambush them, or it'll pull somebody out of their fortress, which will leave it defenseless enough for an attack to possibly destroy it.
I get where your head's at. The problem is that because the load on the front lines is a little lighter right now, if we did that, we would make it a lot heavier.
We're not bringing them anywhere near the front lines.
We're not bringing them anywhere, technically.
We're not saying we're bringing them anywhere near the front lines.
I mean, that this would all this would have to go through big guy here.
I kind of like it.
So we're bringing them west of here, getting them out of battle territory.
To what ends?
Safety.
I mean,
Safety for who?
what if we could trick them into fighting, like, the Thalaxian army or something?
Who?
What?
Huh?
Who?
What army?
Did I say the wrong name?
I don't.
Is it
No,
is
you-
it Thalmar or Thalaxian?
Oh, you
Sorry.
said.
My
Oh,
novel
this
is
is-
one, and
It's
this is the
Thalmar
other.
Empire, I know.
Thalmar. Okay.
And I think
Thalaxian is my novel. Sorry. Well, I mean, we could even see about tricking them into fighting the Thalmar.
We must be honest. Whoever wins that fight, we win either way.
That is true.
Right. Those human scum can go die all they want.
The one small problem that might come up from that is if these
They're in league with the same folks that the Empire is.
the Silver Queen, they might not turn on each other.
It wasn't that hard for you to get the lizard folk to turn on them, though.
That was fun. Viva la revolution!
What if it was until the Empire was going to turn on the hobgoblins?
I mean, that's also doable. But I don't know if that would get like one of the generals out of the fortress. And as much as I hate to say it, so long as the general's in the fortress, we're not going to be able to take the fortress down.
As long as there's also such pressure on the front lines, we would need a full-out assault. We need to get the goblins on the back leg first.
We need to get that front line lessened, which we have done with our couple excursions.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can even say that, whether it be one of the leaders and they end up taking half of what's on the front line right now and bringing them to this location, then at the very least they're not on the front lines. Even if we don't set up an ambush,
Exactly.
it gets them away from the front line to the point where there might be an offensive that can be waged.
But the problem is that the elves can't abandon the tree.
The elves aren't moving.
I'm aware. But if the elves can't go on the offensive if it abandons the tree, no matter for what reason.
They were talking about going on the offensive already.
Not
We're
that
talking
kind of
about
an offensive.
sending some
Strike teams.
strike teams.
We can't
similar
move a
to what
large
we
amount of
did.
elves out off the front line because if the goblins realize what happens, they would attack the tree and they would wipe out everybody there.
And then if we still remove half of the people on the front lines, they don't need to advance. But they will then have a large advantage, theoretically, at the front lines to where they're not in constant combat. They might be able to wipe out what's there while the rest of them are gone.
Which will weaken the forces in the long run,
Overall.
too.
I do like the idea. It's just a matter of getting some of these details down.
It's not
We-
something
we
that
would
we
have
would be
to-
implementing right away. We
Exactly.
have
We
one
would have to
plan.
talk to the people on the front lines before we do anything.
We have one plan already in motion. We can focus on that one. That's just a backup plan.
Okay.
Or the next plan.
Okay.
Okay. I guess we should make sure we're ready then.
Our first line of action. That's how that works, right? No. Anyway, we need to go to this ambush location.
Yeah.
That is the first thing we need to do right now.
Yeah.
We can think about this other plan. Either while we're walking there, while we're there, we have a few days, and then at that point too, we can discuss it with any of the other troops who are going that way.
I definitely agree. One problem that we're going to have, though, is if we lay a trap for the trap, how much are they going to trust any information that big? How much are they going to trust much of their information at all? They're probably going to find a whole new way to send these missives back and forth.
It's like Wick said, it's not going to be a goblin message. It'll be possibly something that a high-looking elf was killed and a goblin picks up the message.
Right, I understand that, but how much are they going to trust any information after they know that the information that we just gave them is false? Which they will when all 50 of those hobgoblins die.
Or they
It's
show
just
up.
like
Or
we're not
they
to
show
consider.
up and nothing happens.
They might.
If nothing happens, it's worse than if it seems like we got wind of what they were planning.
There's scouting missions. Somebody could, a scout, it's all in hypotheticals, a scout could have seen a large group of hobgoblins moving from John Bay, and then to another location, moving west, moving east. I forget what direction we were sending them.
Mhm.
And that doesn't necessarily mean that the information was false. It just means that their plan was figured out.
Right.
So it's not false. It's not necessarily false information, just an unlucky coincidence.
It'll be interesting to see if that's how they take it.
Hey, Anna, can you give me wisdom saving throw again?
What's going on?
And I meant to ask, is this versus charm or is this versus being charmed?
No.
Okay. Alright, so that is a 12.
Thanks.
I can roll 1 too, but it's going to be a 1. So let's just say that happened. All right. Well, let's get back to let's go back to the front lines and talk with everyone there. Figure out the plan for the ambush.
The sun's coming up right now. I am quite tired.
Sleep would probably be good, but not behind enemy lines.
No, I would agree with that. Because we're a couple hours, you said?
I mean, you guys had to like traverse
Yeah.
around, so yeah, it'd be a couple hours.
I think I can survive a couple hours on the way back.
Okay.
Being stealthy and such.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go back and get some rest.
Go from there.
All right, so you guys start heading back, and I do need to do.
I'm gonna stop being at like 4 or 5 in the morning when I have a level 3 spell. Wanna cast sending, the thing that I tried to do before.
When it's not the middle of the night.
Yes. Hey Mom, are you a morning person? It's been a while. I don't remember.
All right, Valchar, wisdom saving throw, please.
There it
Oh
is.
God.
Good thing is, well, wisdom save that makes it a 10.
Okay. So as you're speaking, you freeze in place.
Cool.
Give me quick perception checks.
Yeah, can we see where it came from at all?
8.
16. 14.
8, 16, 14?
16.
8, 16, 14. Okay. Jeez.
Apparently my dice missed being used.
My dice continue to be mad at me.
So you two, each, with Valchar stopping mid-speak, like look around, and you both see cloaked individuals kind of rushing towards you, one at each. Sai doesn't see anything. And that's where we're going to cut it for tonight.
I'm glad I'm used as the cliffhanger.
It's normally me, because usually I'm screwing up.
Well, that's going to do it for us for tonight. Thank you guys so much for
Lee.
watching. We're going to start off next episode with a bang, and we have a path forward. So,
Please, not a bang. I want to be able to survive it.
It's an intense bang.
all right. You guys take it easy. Have a good one. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.